Bitcoin is selling off, and we got to be ready for what's coming next. We got to be ready for deep discount value to be presented to us once again. We're going to jump straight into it. We're going to talk about this in detail because it's getting a little it's getting a little real. It's getting a little real. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's getting a little bit real. We need to be realistic, keep our expectations real, and understand the structures that we're in so we can be better set off, so we can be ready for the next move. So I'm gonna go over this in detail. I've talked about this many times before, but there's a lot of people that are new, and I want to say it once again. So we know that in 2024 we had this long-term sideways consolidation, many months of the price moving sideways. During this time, I'm not gonna pull it up. It's researchable. It's public information. But during this time, there's been a lot of institutional adoption, a lot of background buying in Bitcoin with hefty, negative macroeconomic news. So that's the bundle, right? And within this bundle, we had sideways consolidation where we see lower lows and lower highs forming. Eventually, we hit a reversal point where we had the last lower high and the first higher low. And then from there, we started moving up higher, breaking resistances, forming a solid uptrend, and then bam, right? We started pushing up higher. Now we're seeing something similar but stronger, right? Where we see sideways consolidation, multiple months, not as much, but the same thing. And actually in 2024, there was a lot of retail fear. But now we're seeing the same thing, but it's a little different because we're seeing sideways consolidation. During this time, there's still institutional adoption, much greater now. Governments, states, a lot more entities are buying Bitcoin. During this time, we still have macroeconomic fear, and retail is, mostly feared. But during this time, we had moving sideways consistently. We had multiple break of structure to the downside, forming a deep discount value for Bitcoin below 80K. During this time, we had a second dip of sub 80K. But the way, if you were to consider the start of the move down and try to factor in a 3-wave move, things become a little bit more clear now, right? Because we have the first wave down solid, right? It maxed out this red extension area very much perfectly. And then it recovered upwards, smashing retracements and filling in imbalance areas. So that's the first wave and then the second wave. And now this third wave is lengthy. It's unfolding in a very, extended manner. And there's two ways this can go, right? Where we see a simple ABC structure. We see, wrong tool. Let's go back. If I can get this out the way. Okay. So it can unfold like this, right? Where we see an A wave down, a B wave up, completing this, and then coming back down. The other option would be coming down, WXY, right? So a lower high than there. As you can see right here, we're finding resistance. And then we come back down to deep value once again before we can finally push up higher. But here's the thing, though. It doesn't have to play this way. And if you consider, okay, so I'm going to show you guys again. So this move upward, if we continue to hold support, so far we are, and we finally push up higher to like 90 to 91K, it will complete a healthy third wave. From there, we can use current fluctuations as potential future support as for a fourth wave before we can finally go up to a fifth wave over 100K. Now, that's the bullish case, right? Where we see this continuing to go higher. It would eliminate the 3-wave move where we see deep value Bitcoin a third time around. And then we just start pushing up higher, right? So we want to see 90, 91K for a healthy third wave recovery. And then a fourth wave correction back down to the 80s before we finally push up higher back into the hundreds. But what happens if these support areas fail? The sell-off can intensify very aggressively because if we consider this retracement area, or this resistance area, I should say, for the extension, it's holding us back from being able to get into this third wave, right? It's holding us back. And what that means is that we have a 1.38 extension at 88.8K. We couldn't pass it we tried retesting it, we couldn't pass it. From there, we started seeing lower highs forming, and we're seeing lower lows within not just this retracement area, but also these support lines are trying to hold the price back up. If these fail, then we're seeing a sell-off back into the overall move up retracement, which is this from the start of down here, 76K, all the way up to 88.7K. We have this as our major, most significant support. If this fails and the sell-off continues, we're looking at sub 85K levels, all the way down to potentially 81K. And at that point, if we can't hold support, and this will be a great time to accumulate as well, because if you believe, like I do, Bitcoin will be much higher in 2025, it's why not accumulate at these deep discounted levels over $10,000 below 100K, right? But if we fail to hold this, and at that point, even if we reach this area, it would ruin the third wave structure upward. It will ruin it. I'll have to recalculate this and find significant supports in case we do break this. But if we do, we're looking at sub 80K easily. We're looking at a third final deep value dip before we can start pushing up higher. And we do know tariffs are kind of building up a little bit. There's, they kind of faded away for a little bit, but they're picking up again. We're not over with this, and we continue to see a little bit of selling in the short term. So I would not be surprised, even with these 3 dips right here, we haven't maxed out the RSI to the bottom side. So to me, it's very clear that we can easily break the support and start, trying to go to 85K, see if we can hold that, but then really come down between 81 to 85K. That's really what I'm looking for a significant support. We'll see how tomorrow goes as the last trade of the week. We'll see if support breaks or hold. If it breaks, this is going to be my next target area to accumulate around that 0.5 at 82K is very significant. But if we do hold this and go up higher, we can try to finally finish that third wave and start looking at a continuation of a bullish upward trajectory. But again, guys, this sell-off is looking very realistic, right? We're seeing these lower lows and lower highs forming. The RSI is not showing, oversoldness to a significant extent. And we still have, this retracement area that has not been, maxed out yet. On top of that, we have the RSI pushing high, or not the RSI, the moving average, the 120 moving average, not really showing weakness where it's trying to, keep the price below it to create that bearish momentum as well. So I'm not trying to be bearish on Bitcoin. I am bearish short term, but long term, I mean, we're going to have a fantastic rest of the year, in my opinion. So these levels are very, very amazing. But if you're a short-term trader, it's very important to understand that, hey, there is a lot of weakness right here. There's a lot of negative volume. And I will not be surprised if we start trading below 85K one more time to try to find support down here. And it's very much possible as well, because again, this final wave down is trying to unfold itself in a lengthy way, because we do have a 3-wave move here, right? So first, second, third, which is a fair WXY pattern. This wave is definitely well below this one. It's not shallow whatsoever. But we have this push higher that is trying to form a 5-wave move higher to start confirming that bullish momentum to finally just have this dip low in for good. But we're seeing too much choppiness. We're seeing too much weakness over here, where actually it looks like it's forming more of a more lengthier WXY pattern. And we can see deep value Bitcoin once again very, very much possible. So that's why it's very important to be ready in case this sell-off does continue. You want to have cash in hand. You want to be ready to accumulate if we do see these deep value of Bitcoin prices one more time. It's very much possible. Even though I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, macroeconomic fear is a real thing, and it's extremely powerful, especially for something that's considered a risk-on asset. So yeah, guys, if we don't see price finally showing bullish momentum within this structure right here and breaking past this previous swing high to try to, recover from this downtrend, then, we're going to see support break, and we're just going to, don't be surprised if we go below the 85K halfway point and start trading into the lower 80s. It's always important to be ready and not be blindly optimistic in the short term when the chart is telling you that, hey, there is some weakness and we could potentially be going lower before we can go up higher. Great things sometimes have to get worse before they actually show their greatness, right? So let's be patient with Bitcoin. Let's see if support can hold. If not, guys, the sell-off can intensify and you got to be ready. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.